Joining us now from Caracas, Ana Vanessa Herrero, a reporter for the Washington Post. Ana, thank you so much for being with us again this morning. What's Caracas like today?
Well, it's definitely different from the day after the elections. We see less people on the streets, yet we don't see any commerces open. We don't see the same fluency as you would expect in or after a normal day of election. So it's, let's say, it's in a tense calm right now. It's doesn't seem peaceful at all since the repression on Monday and on Tuesday was so intense that people are deciding to protest in different ways. They're trying to jump the roadblocks that the National Guard and the police are putting in front of them to avoid any kind of protest.
Ana, among the things that show lack of transparency, to quote the Carter Center, the Maduro Election Council has yet to publish the results of the elections. So by law, I understand, they have 48 hours after an election to publish the results of it. They haven't done that. What's this about?
Well, we really don't know what's going on. The government did say that the electoral system was hacked from another country, but yet they haven't given us or the country any other information on this. So it's the first time, and this is very important for everyone to know, this is the first time that something like this happens in Venezuela. We don't understand what's going on, and the government is not giving a lot of information on this. This is giving tension, putting a lot of tension in what are already complicated days. This is something that people on the streets are yelling or shouting. They want to see the vote. And in the meantime, the opposition says they have proof, and they uploaded all the proof that they had, the vote tallies, to another website, an independent website that shows Edmundo Gonzalez with over 3 million votes ahead of Maduro. So this is a very complicated point right now for the government not to say anything and not to publish the results that they announced on Sunday.
Yeah, and Ana, I mean, just to give a little perspective for folks that maybe don't know about Venezuela and Chavez Maduro's 25-year-plus reign, we're seeing a report that Maduro announced he's created an app so that people could go in and snitch on those who are protesting.
Yes. Well, let me give you a little bit of context on this. This app was created in 2022. The app was supposed to help people, mostly people from working class neighborhoods, to look for medicines or to create like a community. This was supposed to be a helpful app. But yet at that point, at that time, experts were worried about the real purpose of this. But yesterday, Nicolas Maduro relaunched the app with another purpose. And this purpose is, as you said, to snitch, just to call out all of those in their working class neighborhoods mostly who are protesting or who, for example, were witnesses for the opposition so that they could be identified, even going as far as asking people to put the names and addresses of this alleged opposition supporters, with the purpose, of course, of tracking them down. And now we have a situation with over 700 people arrested for protesting and above 11 dead, around 11 yesterday. Today, we're hearing that it's 13 people dead during the 2 days of protests. So it's a very complicated situation that the government is definitely not making any less tense.
Ana Vanessa Herrero, take good care of yourself in Caracas. I thank you very much for being with us this morning. I want to bring in Rob Farbman, Executive Vice President of Edison Research, an American polling company, which actually conducted an exit poll in Venezuela during the presidential elections. Rob, thank you for being with us. And tell us about doing an exit poll on a day, Sunday, where there are presidential elections in a very complicated political system. What did you find in that exit poll?
Well, as far as fielding the exit poll, the planning and the logistics were difficult, but the actual fielding of the poll on Election Day went fairly smoothly. We did not have a lot of interference from police or military until late in the day. But as far as projecting the winner of the race, it was an exit pollster's dream. It was a landslide. At 65-31 was what our poll showed. So it was a blowout election, and as far as we were concerned, it went very well until we saw the actual results released by the government.
65-31 isn't a nail biter, it seems. Rob, it seems as though, as you say, it's a blowout. It's interesting because that exit poll shows pretty similar numbers to the percentages that the opposition says Maduro was defeated by. Is there any possibility that Maduro's claim that he won by 51% could have any truth to it?
There's no possibility. I mean, this is as transparent a cheating effort as you could possibly see. They clearly chose a number just over 50%. Even if you divide the actual vote by the percentages, it comes out to an even decimal, which makes no sense statistically, exactly 51.2%. It's just kind of sloppy cheating that I suspect they had to do on the fly when they saw what a wide margin they had lost by.
Rob, why are you so clear and so confident on the numbers that your organization found on Sunday?
Well, first of all, there were pre-election polls by reputable pollsters. There were a lot of phony polls, obviously, with strange numbers, but several prominent pollsters did pre-election polls, and they showed the same results pretty much we ended up with, 25, 30 points. And we've been doing, Edison does polling for NBC, among others. We've been doing polling for 20 years for NBC and other networks. And we have errors, of course, but nothing like this. 35 points just does not happen. We did a poll there in 2012, so we had experience doing it. In that case, Chavez won the election, and our exit poll showed that, and the government put out the correct results that time.